Hi boys and girls. Today we are going to be talking about drawing supplies, and I wanted to go over all the different supplies at this station that you can use to draw and create a project for yourself. So the first one we're going to talk about is really basic, obviously. It's our pencils that we have in the art room. They do come with an eraser. Please do not be sticking this side of the eraser into any sharpener, not into a handheld sharpener or into the electric sharpener. For one, it tears up the metal part of the pencil and you could get cut. It gets really sharp. And then for the other thing, it's going to wreck our sharpeners. So please do not be sharpening this end of your pencil at all, ever. Not even if the eraser is down to a nub, okay? Secondly, these are the sharpeners that you have at every single table for a handheld sharpener. We also have the electric sharpeners on the counter, but for now I wanted to show you the handheld sharpeners. And so if your pencil needs to be sharpened, you can use the handheld sharpener. If you can't get it to work, I would say the second best thing would be to go to the counter and use the electric sharpener. But these actually do work pretty well. There are two holes here. There's one for, look, it's already sharpened. There's one for a larger pencil. We don't have any pencils this size, so I would always use this one, or it's going to sharpen sideways. So the pencil sharpeners that look like this are for pencils, and you want to use the normal pencil hole size, okay? So I only twisted it like 3 times and it came out very sharp. Close this. If it needs to be emptied, you can take this to the garbage can and empty it out, but make sure you're putting both pieces back together. It's very simple. Okay, so pencil erasers. Our erasers should never be cut in half. They should not be drawn on with a Sharpie, stabbed with a pencil. They should not be thrown across the room. This is a drawing tool, so if you are not using it correctly, I'm going to take it away. Erasers and all of the drawing supplies that we have in our classroom are paid for by the school, and we want to make sure that we're taking care of them. Not to mention there are a lot of other students that come through the art room each and every single day and week. So we want to make sure that we're keeping the art supplies nice for everybody else. So the reason why they have a slanted edge like this is so that you can erase something in a small area. So if you're cutting that with the scissors, it's not going to work as well. Also, you want to make sure that you're, like, some people don't use it correctly by drawing on it or cutting it with their scissors, and we want to make sure that we're using them the right way, or we're going to run out of erasers. Okay, the next thing would be a crayon. Crayons are pretty self-explanatory. You all know how to color with a crayon. If you need the paper peeled back, if your crayon is getting short, I do have a paper peeler on my desk that you can come to use on Mrs. Knips's desk. Otherwise, make sure you're not cracking them, but we can use crayons. You can use crayons anytime at the drawing station. Okay, colored pencils. There are a couple of things with colored pencils. First of all, if I see you drumming with colored pencils, I am going to tell you to please stop. And the reason why is because you can see on the back here, do you see how there's blue right here? There is a blue piece of lead that runs all the way through our colored pencils. And when you drum with them on the table, all of the pencil lead gets cracked inside here. Okay, and so then when you go to sharpen your colored pencil, you know how the tip comes out? That's because the lead is all cracked up inside of there from somebody drumming on with the pencil as a colored pencil, or as a drumstick. So this year I did buy colored pencil sharpeners that are specifically made for colored pencils. So you should not have to bring your colored pencils up to the electric sharpeners at all. And you don't have to use this one either, because there's a specific colored pencil sharpener at every single table. Okay? Very, 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 very sharp. And I barely twisted it. Okay, if you need help opening this one, it's a little bit trickier to find out how to open it, but the lid just comes off like this. It does not hold very many shavings, so you might have to make a couple trips to the garbage can. Don't forget, we have lots of garbage cans in our room. They're all around us. Okay, so colored pencils, make sure you're not drumming with them. Make sure that you are sharpening them with the correct colored pencil sharpener. All right, markers. This is a favorite of a lot of people. When you close your marker, if I close it like this, it's going to dry out. Okay, you need to hear that snap. All right. If you are somebody that needs to do this and push it on the table to snap it, that's totally fine. Just make sure that you're not putting the tip of the marker in the back of the lid on accident. And then the other thing I want to talk about is when you are going to color with them, or you're going to make like dots on your paper with them. If I am pounding my marker onto my paper, the tip of my marker is going to go flat and all of the juice that's in my marker is going to splatter all over and our marker is going to be ruined. So please make sure that you are coloring them with them how you should. Make sure that if you're going to draw a dot, that you are like actually drawing the circle and drawing the dot, okay? Not pounding your marker onto the table, okay? Snap. All right, then also at our drawings table, we have Sharpies. Sharpie markers are permanent markers. That means they don't wash out of things. Do they come off of our hands? Yes, but it will take a couple days. Do I want you to draw on your hands with a Sharpie marker? Absolutely not. Okay, that's not what they're used for. That would be misusing the art supplies. So make sure that when you are using a Sharpie marker, you are only drawing on your paper. If you draw on the table with them or on somebody else or on a t-shirt or any of that, it's going to be, sometimes it doesn't come out at all. Or if you do get it out, it's going to be very hard to get out. We have 3 different sizes of Sharpies that are in our classroom. So we have one that's called a ultra fine point Sharpie. This is a skinny Sharpie is what we call it a lot. So if I open this up, okay, it has a very, very teeny tiny tip on it for making really skinny lines. Okay, if I'm drawing an art project that has like big, bold, black lines, this is probably not the Sharpie that I want to choose. If I'm drawing something with a lot of details, or I'm trying to follow and trace over something that's like a really, really, really fine line like this, then this would maybe be a great choice to pick, because a bigger Sharpie maybe couldn't make all of those turns without running into itself. Okay, so this one is for detail work. These Sharpies also, for some reason, the skinny Sharpies are very hard to close. So you might have to push this on the table, and they don't snap as well, but you can tell that there's a little ridge here, and this lid needs to be touching this ridge all the way. Okay? All right, here's the next size of Sharpie. This one is called a fine point Sharpie. I usually call them the medium Sharpies or the regular Sharpies. Okay, when I take off the lid, it has a nice point on it. Usually this tip gets worn down a little bit, but hopefully not right away. So at first it'll give you a pretty fine line. Let's see if I have a Sharpie here that has a, I might have an even duller Sharpie. Okay, later on it'll give you a broader line because the tip kind of gets worn down after you use it a lot. But again, it's just like our other markers. You don't want to be pounding this into the table because then we're going to break our Sharpies faster. Okay, let's see. Nope, that one's got a pretty good tip on it too. All right, the next thing also I was going to tell you is when you are going to use a Sharpie, I usually have a test paper where you can test out the markers and see if they work, and it'll be next to the Sharpie bin. And then you don't have to move back and forth or feel like you have to take multiple Sharpies back to your table. Okay, and then we have the jumbo Sharpie. This is the giant one, okay? And this Sharpie has a chiseled tip, and chiseled tip means that it is flat but slanted. So if I hold it where this part of the marker is going to be flat on my paper, it's going to make a really thick line. So we use this for like pop art or something where we want a really thick black outline. Okay. Also, I could use the tip of the marker and it'll make a skinny line. So sometimes I tell you to use this marker to create a shadow, like on your letters. Hold on. That's not a very good example. Let me draw a letter first with a pencil. Oh, which also brings me to another point. If you are using any of these supplies, you should always use a pencil first. Okay? That way we don't have so many mistake papers. All right, I drew a K for knips. I'm gonna use the thick part of the Sharpie on the lines on the left side of my paper and the bottom of my paper. So this line is on the left. So I'm gonna use the thick side of my Sharpie and make a very bold line. This line is on the left and this line is on the left. Okay, then my bottom lines, I'm gonna make a thick line. There we go. Now I'm gonna switch and I'm gonna use the point. I'm gonna make a skinny line on the rest of it and it kind of looks like a 3D letter. Okay. Again, if you're pounding this into your paper, it is going to become dull and it won't work like it should. Another example of making sure the lid is closed, the two ridges need to connect. There should be no space in between there. Okay, so this is most of our drawing supplies. The only ones I did not show you would be our automatic pencil sharpeners, our electric pencil sharpeners, which you should only need to use or get out of your seat if these two are not working for you. All right. If you are going to start drawing on a picture,